Who will make the All Australian team in 2025? G'day everyone and welcome back to another video here on the YouTube channel, and today I'll be predicting the 2025 AFL All Australian team. Let me know down below if you guys agree with my team. And now enough wasting your time, let's get straight into it. Starting off with the full backs, first up is Lachie Ash. He's currently 7th in total disposals all season, 14th in total marks, and he's 18th in total AFL fantasy points. Having Ash down back has been really good for their side, and I'm almost positive he'll play a huge role in the Giants finals campaign in 2025. Next up, we have Sam Taylor. Now, if this does end up occurring, this will be Sam Taylor's second time making the All Australian team, as he did make the side back in 2022, which was actually the same year he won the GWS Giants Best and Fairest. His ability to intercept mark is really what's made him stand out heavily this year, and overall has had a lot of high performing games throughout this year, which is going to help him lock in this spot. And the third one is Dane Zorko. He's 36 years old, and as this is likely to be one of his final years of his career, if not his last, it's quite impressive what he's able to do. His kicking out of defence has really made a difference for the Lions this year. He almost never misses a kick and always hits up the right option, really no matter how much pressure he's in. Now moving on to the halfback, the first one I have is Josh Dacos. After round 18, he was probably locked in to make the AFL All Australian team. He was in such great form, was probably top 3 of our best players at the time, and actually probably still is. He has had some standout games, especially that one game against Gold Coast. Despite the loss, he was one of the reasons we were even close to winning that game and made that comeback. He's only made the All Australian team once in his career, and that was back in 2022, and I hope to see him make the team yet again this year in 2025. Next up is Bailey Dale. Now, Bailey Dale is probably the only player on this list that was on the verge of not making it at all. I just don't think he's been that consistent throughout the year, to be honest. But I'm putting him in here because of some of the outstanding games and some of the outstanding performances he's had this season. I mean, he broke the Bulldogs disposal record and he almost racked up 50 touches in that game. He averaged 27 disposals a game off the halfback, and I hope that this year we see him make the All Australian team for the second time in his career. And the third player, it's really no shock to anyone, it's Nasiah Wanganeen-Malira from the St Kilda Saints. What a crazy season this man has had. He really will play a huge part in St Kilda's side over the next few years, as he did this year. He's typically a defender, but he has certainly been getting a lot more midfield minutes throughout the later end of the season. And I feel like after that game against Melbourne, he was pretty much locked in to make the All Australian team. He had 34 disposals and 4 goals. Like, that is insane. That is not a human-like performance. Last week, he did reach the ton, 100 bounces in one AFL season. It is crazy to think how young of a player he still is, and he's going to be dominating the league within the next few years. I'd be shocked if he never wins a Brownlow in his career. Now we move on to the centres, and the first player we have is Max Holmes. He's been really impressive in that Cats midfield, and the fact that he's able to stand out in such a skilled side like the Cats is really saying something. He's just a very adaptable player, meaning that he's able to adapt to any weather conditions whatsoever, and you can just swing him around the ground and you just know he's really going to play his role. He's got an average of 26 disposals a game, and he's such a fast player, which makes him almost impossible to tag. Next up is Bailey Smith. After missing the entirety of the 2024 season for the Western Bulldogs, due to a crucial injury obviously, he headed over to the Cats, and this has easily been his best season in his career. He's never made the All Australian team, and it's almost a lock that he'll make it this season. He has dropped off a little bit over the last 5 weeks, but I don't think it really matters. He's probably going to be high up there in the Brownlow medal count and could still run away with the medal himself. And he's playing his role enough to the point where these low performing games are going to go unnoticed. He typically likes to kick the ball pretty long, but he knows how to hit up a target no matter what. And I think it would be pretty silly to not have him in my team. Next up is Jordan Dawson. And I will say this right now, he is my predicted captain for the All Australian team. So keep that in mind. He's been quite a skillful and inspirational player throughout this 2025 season. This has by far been his best season ever. His contested marking is unbelievable. If you're on the opposing team and you're in a marking contest with Jordan Dawson, you know you're not going to win it. He's 4th in total fantasy points of 2025, and with him being a favourite to win this year's Brownlow, you can't not have him in the team. Now at half forward, we have Keziah Pickett. There are a lot of rumours at the start of the season that Kozzy Pickett could potentially be departing from the Demons at the end of 2025, but I'm sure fans are very, very happy that he is going to be staying, considering the season that he's had. He's kicked 40 goals this season, which is really really impressive considering he's playing for a team that only won 7 games this year. And he's also a small forward. He's such an agile player. His vertical leap and sprint gives him a heavy advantage against the opposition, and he's just so good around goals. Next, no shock to anyone, is Jeremy Cameron. There's very little explanation needed for this player. He's kicked the most goals all season, being 83 in total. And with a very strong final series, he could be the first player in absolute yonks to kick 100 goals in an AFL season. This will be the 5th time he's made the All Australian team in his career. You can back him to kick a goal from almost any position on the ground, except maybe, half back. But even then, a good torp might get him the distance. And I'd like to think his goal and points ratio is pretty decent considering how many goals he has kicked and how many scoring opportunities he's had. He's kicked 83 goals and 36 points. Pretty accurate if you ask me. Next, we have Isaac Heaney. I genuinely think Isaac Heaney is one of the most overlooked players in the entire AFL at the moment. You watch a Sydney Swans game and he just stands out like an apple in a fruit bowl with a bunch of blueberries. To think that he's a midfielder who's averaging roughly 25 disposals a game and has kicked 37 goals in a single season, you can't tell me that's not All Australian worthy. Now we move on to the full forwards, and first up we have Jamie Elliott. Coming from a Pies fan, I will say this, there is little to no doubts when it comes to Jamie Elliott in our side. Whenever Elliott has ball in hand and he's lining up for a goal, you know he's going to kick it more often than not. He very rarely lets the pressure get to him. He has kicked a career best 52 goals all season. Look, his finish to the season wasn't the greatest, but seeing as he's a small forward who just finished outside the top 5 of the Coleman medal, I think he's a likely chance of making the All Australian team this season. And I'm really not complaining with his performance this year. Next up is Riley Thilthorpe. I think this is pretty understandable. He started the year looking to be a very heavy Coleman medal contender. Unfortunately, he just couldn't keep up with the consistency of Jeremy Cameron, but obviously his 55 goals this season won't go unnoticed, as he ended up having a season average of 15 disposals a game as well as 2 goals in each game. Next up is Jack Gunston. I can't believe that someone at age 33 years old is able to have a huge season like this. This is his career best season. I mean, obviously I'm not going to overlook his previous season because he's been a pretty good player throughout his entire career, but this is obviously by far his best season. This gives me the vibes of Taylor Walker back in 2023. Although you would say Tex has had a more successful career than Jack Gunston. Taylor Walker was 33 back in 2023 and he kicked 76 goals, came second in the Coleman medal next to Charlie Curnow, and if Gunston does make the team this year, this will be his 5th time making the All Australian team. Now our All Australian ruckman, this one was a bit hard for me. There was a few ruckmans in mind. Tristan Sherry had a good season. I thought Grundy had a pretty underrated season as well. He had that one game where he almost got 40 disposals and he's winning almost every single hit out. But I've decided just to go basic, and my All Australian ruckman for 2025 is going to be Max Gawn. I feel like this is sort of a no-brainer in a way. He's one of the greatest ruckmans of all time and has probably been the best ruckman this season. He's made the All Australian team 7 times in his career and this will be his 8th assuming he does make it. He typically has the most hit outs every game and very rarely gets beaten in a marking contest because of his core strength, his strong hands, and of course his height. Not to mention that he has had more fantasy points this season than any other player in the competition. Now we move on to our 2 rovers, and I've got Noah Anderson as the first one. He's at a season average of 30 disposals a game, and a lot of people have high expectations for him in this year's Brownlow medal count, which is pretty understandable considering his form throughout this season. He's been pretty good the last 3 or 4 years, but he's certainly proved his skill this season, and he's arguably the best player the Suns currently have on their list. And the second rover is Nick Dacos. He made the All Australian team in both 2023 and 2024, so hopefully he goes for 3 in a row. He is also a heavy favourite to win this year's Brownlow medal. Coming from a Collingwood fan, you just see the skill gap between Nick Dacos and the average midfielder. Despite his contested marking game not being the greatest, he still averages 10 to 15 contested possessions a game. His ability to rack up 30 plus disposals a game with a heavy tag on him is quite impressive. He hardly misses a target and has very good coordination, and he's had a lot to do with Collingwood's success this season. Now we move on to the interchange bench, which aren't necessarily players who haven't had as good as seasons as these other players that I've named, but they're more players who are deserving of an All-Australian spot in the team, but didn't quite make their name on the list. First up, we have Hugh McCluggage. This has been probably his best season in his career. He was probably bound to step up in 2025, to be honest, as Lachie Neale's age is really getting to him and affecting his gameplay. And with the talented midfielders coming up, we can't just be relying a lot on them, so someone else definitely needed to step up. But I think he'll be pretty happy with his performance in 2025. and he'll leave the fans pretty proud. Next up is Matt Rao. His second half of the season has been something impressive. I feel like when it comes to the Brownlow medal this season, Rao is a very unlikely winner, but I wouldn't be surprised if he polls really high and makes a top 5 finish. He looks so good just bursting out of a pack with ball in hand, and he's also currently second in total tackles in 2025. Next up is Marcus Bontempelli. He's another contender for the All-Australian captain this season, but personally I just believe Jordan Dawson's been more influential than Bont and is a lot more deserving. Bontempelli has been one of the best players in the comp for so long now, and the fact that he hasn't won a Brownlow is quite surprising. He missed a lot of early games for the Dogs, which is why this is a bit hard for me, but it's certainly made a monumental impact on their team ever since his return. And he's just one of the most reliable kicks in the competition at the moment as well. And the final player that I have in my All-Australian team on the interchange bench is Caleb Serong. He's really good when it comes to winning the ball out of the middle and is probably one of the best clearance players in the comp. With him and Brayshaw playing alongside each other, they're just so hard to stop. He may not be the most consistent player at the moment, but there's just been a few games where he's performed so well to the point where it's just hard not to have him in this team. And to think that this is only the start of what we can expect from Caleb Serong is really, really scary. And that will wrap up today's video, everyone. I really hope you did enjoy, and if you did, could you please show me that by liking the video as well as subscribing down below. Anyway, I'll see you all in the next bit of content that I post here on the channel.